else, he's my favorite Disney character.
Let's hear your presentation.
Come on.
I have faith in you.
Emma, you want to tell us your first name? Yes, right? You got it.
Mr. Jackson,
You don't have to do it.
I don't have an impersonation.
What about me?
Strike that pose right there.
Oh,
It's
no.
on the bottom right there. Strike that pose. And we're going to finish up today talking about African Americans. So, African Americans, they had a literary and artistic movement that celebrated African American culture through art and music, paintings, literature, and that's just called the Harlem Renaissance. But also, you have Black nationalism, so a pride in being Black. Yeah. So Marcus Garvey, he founded the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and he advocated for segregation. He felt that was good. So he rejected W.E.B. Du Bois and his feelings of integration. He was more for.
Is that Marcus Garvey?
Yeah.
Why is he dressed up?
No, that was just how he did it.
Then he dressed up with a furry hat and a sword.
Yeah.
And so he encouraged people to go back to Africa, and we'll listen to and read his speech today. But he encouraged blacks to move back to Africa and unite in Africa. But this kind of allowed many African Americans to start to be more activists. So the Great Migration really influenced the Harlem Renaissance. So the Great Migration was just where African Americans moved from the south to the north for better economic reasons, for better social reasons, political reasons. And as people moved up north, it transplanted jazz and blues and things like literature and art to these northern cities. And that's kind of how you get the Harlem Renaissance. So the Harlem Renaissance, you have this new kind of art that deals with African Americans, you know, literature, painting, music, and it was more to be happy and proud of who you are and where you came from, and to celebrate your culture. So you have people like Langston Hughes and Bob McKay and Zora Neale Hurston. I'm sure that you all have read something from them, at least one of them. So as people moved from the south to the north, it transplanted their culture to the north, which is what happens with any culture that moves to a new area. They transplant what they love and what they do to that area. And so the Harlem Renaissance gets its name from Harlem in New York. That's where a lot of jazz and blues was. And remember, yesterday we talked about
jazz being a very American style of music. And so when it went abroad, it kind of showed the type of music that Americans produce. And during the Harlem Renaissance, many people questioned what should this new music and art and literature be about? Should it be to combat racism, or should it be more for just expression of yourself? So many people were conflicted about that. So this is a poem by Langston Hughes. And so let's get someone to read it. Alex, read this poem.
I've known rivers ancient as the world, and older than the flow of human blood and human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo, and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans. And I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunset. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like rivers.
So this was a poem by Langston Hughes just about being happy of who he is and where he came from, and a pride in who he is and where he came from, which that's what the Harlem Renaissance was kind of all about. And the final slide of notes for the day, music. So you have people like Paul Robeson. He was a singer and a civil rights movement leader. He was also an actor as well. If you ever go to the African American History Museum in DC, they have a whole section on him. Which if you ever go to that museum, you'll need about 5 hours of your day to get through it. There are 6 floors of it.
6 floors of that museum?
It goes down into the ground. It takes a long time to go through it.
It's like Smithsonian or whatever.
And you have Louis Armstrong. He played the trumpet. And people like Duke Ellington and Bessie Smith, Josephine Baker, they were all musicians in some way. Duke Ellington, he played at the Cotton Club in Harlem. But the thing about the Cotton Club in Harlem is that even though African Americans performed there, African Americans weren't allowed in. So only white people were allowed in to actually watch and enjoy the music. But white people, they really enjoy jazz and blues. So we're just going to listen to 3 examples of music during this time. One from Duke Ellington, one from Bessie Smith,
Oh, really?
and one from Josephine Baker. Yeah.
Awesome.
don't mean a thing if you ain't got that swing. It don't mean a thing, all you gotta do is swing. Makes no difference if the sweet's hot. Just if there's rhythm,
It don't mean nothing. And then this is Bessie Smith. And then this last one is Josephine Baker Jansen.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
This is it. None of these things were around the 1920s.
NBC was.
Yeah, that's true.
$35 a month. That was some Spanish. What's that little girl? Oh my God! That's a flapper. Looks like she's wearing a mask. Looks like she's wearing what is she doing? I just like this. I love this ball. She's saying going with the music. Yeah, she's dancing over there like moving. The girls like what they were always watching. Just these guys. Dude, Yellowstone, turn that on. We're twerking again. We're twerking today. She thinks she's killing it too. What's up, Duke Ellington again? Yeah, I want to get it. Duke Ellington again. The beginning of the first one is from a movie, I swear. I know it is from a movie. That's why I It is from. This is from a movie. I think didn't they make a remake of the song with the same beats and newer to be clear?
Don't mean a thing if you ain't got that
It's from like Scooby Doo.
It don't mean a thing, all you gotta do is
Let's try to
swing.
sing it.
What movie is this?
That was in museum. I want to say it's the one spy. Doesn't music videos sound like they're like right, that's my granddad. That's true. Is that a football? Why is it playing a What'd you say? Sounds like can you play like a new version of that song? I want to figure out what movie. Can you just YouTube that song? Or remaster. That way it's clear. It probably is a remaster. It gotta be. Actually, this is more together. I want to figure it out.
When Duke Ellington.
We used to do that song.
Duke Ellington, he has a song, Immigration Blues. He has a song, alright. He has a song, Immigration Blues, it's all about immigration and how that impacts people, but there aren't words to it. So it's more how you
Good thing.
Well, I don't think it needed
It definitely was.
really the tone.
Mr. Jackson,
Yeah.
have you heard about the, like, Ben Carson's taking a lot of crap for what he said about immigration? It's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Like, he called slaves, he said these slaves are immigrants. And people were like,
Kind of true.
they were, no, he said slaves were immigrants. No, he said
No, he
slaves
definitely
were
said
immigrants.
slaves are immigrants.
No, he's pretty sure, oh, God.
Oh, since Rue's pretty
Well,
sure.
guess
then
what?
he's right.
It don't mean a thing. Ollie,
Ben Carson
ain't it,
said
didn't he say,
that,
slaves were
Alright, so, yes, he did say that. He apologized, I think, yesterday.
He didn't think it was gonna, like,
Yeah.
people were gonna get butthurt.
But he has also said things like that before. One time he said, that slaves
yeah.
came here
water bottle.
voluntarily.
Well, they are immigrants.
Yeah, but.
They're involuntary immigrants.
Alright,
They're still immigrating.
So next, what we're gonna do is some writing.
Oh, yay.
But first, we're going to talk about it first. So, what you all are going to write about is what political, social, and economic changes took place during the 1920s, and what impact did those changes have on the lives of people during the 1920s, and then what impact have those changes had on society today. So the first, we're just going to talk about it and have a discussion about it, and then you all are going to write.
Oh, yeah.
We have to write in different ways.
Alright, so,
How you feeling?
alright, so let's just talk about the changes that took place. So what political changes took place during the 1920s?
Normalcy or whatever.
Yeah. Tell me about that. What about it?
There was, limited immigration there
Yeah.
Yeah.
Limited immigration.
from the Europeans.
Yeah. What was the act called?
What was the what? The act called,
I saw that.
I'm not sure.
The National Origins Act, where it restricted immigration to 2%. You can use that as a political change, a social change, and you can also link it with economic change as well. Because you link it with an economic change, because when you think about it, immigrants are coming here and they need jobs as well. So if you limit immigration, then there'll be more jobs for Americans.
Do you want a paper?
And do you have a policy for reading notes?
I do not have either of those, Mr. Jackson.
Tell me another political change.
Political change. I have a lot of politicians starting
Hey.
to modern.
That is nasty.
What is that modern?
Alright.
Oh, the Volstead Act.
Yeah. So the Volstead Act is another political change, and you can also have that under social change as well. With prohibition, that kind of increased